How's it going, guys? Alex here, and I'm back for another video. So, of course, Link is now here. What's it called? Code of the Duelist just came out, and loads of, Link monsters like Firewall Dragon, um, Missus, whatever, has came out, and all that sort of stuff. You know, Link is here, Trick Stars are here, all this sort of stuff. But some people, including people a bit like me and a few other people, aren't really wanting to play Link. And so, all this sort of stuff. So I'm here and just going to show you some top 10 budget decks that you can play in Link format. These decks will all be under £50 or about €60, $60, something like that. They will all be very affordable and will not be hit on ban lists at all. So, without further ado, let's go straight into the list. Coming in at number 10, we've got Ultra Athletes. This deck is insanely cheap. Like, it's just extremely cheap. Tons and tons of fun to play. And the best part about it is you don't even need extra deck at all. It's completely extra deckless. I used to play it myself, and it was just so much fun to play. Very basic as well. Like if you're quite new to Yu-Gi-Oh, and you kind of just want to learn a deck that has like everything towards it. It's got like special summoning, negating, all this, that, and the other. This deck is the one for you. Tons and tons of fun to play, and it's insanely cheap. And Stormforth goes well in this because you're playing a lot of level 5 and level 6 monsters. The whole point of Ultra Athletes is you set up your defense before you end your turn, and then when it's your turn you set up your offense. You got your monster like Slugger that's going to prevent your opponent from activating card effects and all this sort of stuff, and it's so good. You don't even need an extra deck at all, which is just even better. Next up, coming at number 9, we've got Fluffles. This deck is, again, something I used to play. Very trolly as well. I remember I was a regional in Portsmouth, and I was playing extra deck Fluffles. So this is the ones with, what's it called in it? Like Tzolk'in and Crystal Wing, this, that, and the other. And it is actually a very good deck in Link format, and people just think, yeah, but you're required to use like loads of extra deck monsters. In a way, that is true, but the whole thing is it turns into Sabertooth, because Sabertooth is your most important Fluffle card, because Sabertooth kind of plays around the graveyard, and when extra deck monsters are summoned from the graveyard, they don't need to go into the Link zone. So you're not really missing out on anything. And besides, if you summon something like Fright Fur Tiger or something, you're sort of just summoning monsters that can just blow up the field, so you can OTK still, and Brilliant Fusion goes really well in this as well, so it's actually really good, and it's actually very cheap now because of how many reprints it's had. Coming at number 8, we got Kaiju Yosenjus, or just Kaijus in general. I mean, Yosenju Kaijus, in my opinion, are the best way of playing Kaijus, but this deck I have severe hatred against because it's so damn annoying, but it's so much fun to play. The Yosenju engine in there is so good because you can just kaiju one of your opponent's monsters and bounce it back, as Big Sean said. Let's say took it air, but another bounce back, because that's what Yosenjus do. They'll bounce back your opponent's bounce back the kaijus back to your hand, and you can reuse them again next turn. Traps go really well in this. You can set up stuff like Quaking Mirror Force, Drowning Mirror Force, this, that, and the other, because you're not going to have any monsters on the field. Yosenjus, once you summon all 3, they come back to your hand. And with Tenki still being at 3, this card is just wins you. This card just wins you games. It's so much fun. And Slumber, although it's at 2, it's still a thing. It's still good, and it just makes the deck broken. Coming in at number 7, we have Domain Monarchs, a deck I don't really need to say much of. Monarchs last year were in big meta deck, very annoying to play against, and completely lock off your opponent. Considering we are now in Link format as well, Link monsters are very important, and they are from the extra deck. The Domain lock will prevent that, and you've even got cards like Vanity's Fiend being a thing. So if you have Domain lock and a Vanity's Fiend on your opponent on your field, your opponent, I guarantee you, can do absolute fuck all unless they're playing True Draco. This deck is so good, and Stormforth and Pantheism are just ridiculous. It's so effective. Coming in at number 6, we have Cyber Angels, a deck I used to enjoy playing so much. This is more of like people who very old school style of Yu-Gi-Oh. This is a ritual summoning when back when like Necros were a thing, all this sort of stuff. This card is this deck is just so good. And like Ritual Sanctuary was released somewhat like last year, I think, or this year, something like that. Actually, it was last year. And Ritual Sanctuary is so good. You can search your ritual monsters, your ritual spell cards, brilliant ways of playing this, and you're able to put like Necro's a Unicorn in here. My friend showed me a way you can put Unicorn and Brio in the deck, which, to be honest, to do that is absolutely incredible. You don't need extra deck as well unless you wanting to play like stuff like Ouroboros and stuff. In fact, if you want to play extra deck, I guarantee you'll probably only have one or two monsters out max during the game, so it's not really much to play. So you don't really need to worry about Link summoning in this. Going at number 5, we have ABC. ABC was kind of a meta-ish deck for about a couple months, and then, Raging Tempest came out, and Zodiac was just destroying everything. This deck was very good, and it still is actually. It's like 3 structure decks makes the deck. Very basic play as well. Your whole thing of fusing and bringing out, and if you want to play like a kind of linky format one, you can just use the gadgets as well, because like gold gadget, silver gadget can make you an instant link too, and it's just a great way of play. Tsukuyomi as well, which was like a really effective card because all the ABC monsters are light. So you can just easily get a Tsukuyomi out. Tsukuyomi now is only about £1 because of the recent set that reprinted it. This deck is great. I'd highly recommend it. Coming at number 4, we have Pure Light Swans. Finally, Minerva is reprinted. This card is dirt cheap, under like £5-6. This deck is just great. Go play this. This deck is so much fun to play. I mean, I'm saying this quite biasly because Light Sworn, I've been playing them since day one. This deck is insanely fun to play. And the whole thing I like about Light Swans is the fact that you play them how you want to play them. There's no like, you must play this card, you must play that card. I mean, sure, every deck has their staple cards they must play, but, it's how you want to play your Light Swans. And like, what's it called? Zombies go really well in, so if you have Shiranuis, Mizuki, all this sort of stuff, you can put it in. Plague Spreader Zombie goes very well, and the bitch known as Fairy Tale Snow goes very well in this deck. Enjoy her while you can. And also, my boy Dante, because you are playing stuff like Lumina, which is level 3, great cards to put in the deck. Coming in at number 3, we have Spirals. Spirals, the deck that is actually still going on, and I think if they keep releasing, what's it called? If they keep reprinting releasing support for Spirals, this deck will more than likely become a meta deck, which is extremely good. This deck, I've only seen like 1 or 2 extra deck monsters used for this. In fact, some people don't even use extra deck, and it's just insanely fun to play. Really annoying to play against because like the whole thing is you can just reorder your opponent's top 3 cards without them seeing them. It's really good, and Kaiju's go really well in there, and somewhat Light Swans. I've seen people play Light Swans. It doesn't make any sense, but with a lot of the Spirals playing around the extra deck, it kind of does make sense. And Quick Fix being a machine, somehow he's a human, but if Quick Fix somehow being a machine, you can use machine duplication, and of course loads are commons and rares apart from stuff like Super Agent and Spy Gal Misty. Coming in at number 2, we have Dinosaur. Dinosaur, by the way, is my main deck at the moment. However, I'm playing Dinosaur Zodiac, which is a bit different. Ulti-Conductor Tyranno, which is your boss monster, is basically goodbye Zodiac, because all honesty, I've played quite a few people that are playing Zodiac using Ulti-Conductor, and if I've gone first and I have an Ulti-Conductor, I can just interrupt plays straight away. Like, the card is absolutely busted because, you can set all your opponent's monsters face down during their turn, which is so good. And you don't really expect that. I mean, like, you've got some really good cards in the structure deck because all you have to do to get the deck, buy 3 structure decks and a couple other cards, and that's practically it. The only extra deck monster you kind of really need is Lagia, but Mrs. Radiant, which is the Link 2 card that came out in Code of the Duelist, which is only a super rare, very cheap, actually benefits the deck. I mean, it's kind of silly, you wouldn't really expect me to say that, but it really does benefit the deck, because you can, it's practically an instant ulti conductor the way you use it, and it's so good. And True King engine in the deck is so good because Lithosagim, overpowered as hell. You can just go into your opponent's extra deck and practically just banish all their link monsters if you want to. Overraptor as well, which is the main level 4 monster. So much good stuff you can do. Dump to graveyard, pop cards, this, that, and the other. And my boy Trish can be played in this because of Durakalo. Anyway, you're going to be wondering what is at number 1. We have Cosmo. Cosmo's, I'm going to be honest, is one of my favorite decks. I still play it, and all honesty, I can never say this card will never be a good budget deck. This deck doesn't actually need extra deck because the monsters just are too busted altogether. The ships, apart from level 5s and level 6 ones, are untargetable. Your opponent can't target them at all. There's so much negating you can do. Dark Eclipse negates traps, Dark Planet negates spells, and these are all 3-4k beaters that just can't be touched. Allure of Darkness is at 3 now from last year, which makes it even better because the whole thing, you banish the dark monster that's a Cosmo, you're just gonna get it back using Cosmo down. I mean, granted, the deck kind of was quite heavily reliant on Maxi, because when Maxi was at 3, people were playing 3 Maxi in this deck, which is kind of understandable, but still, the deck is still pretty busted. Cosmo Town's just got so much damn utility. In fact, when the ban list was out, I was so surprised the card didn't get hit. It floats just like a boat. This deck is just impossible to get rid of, and it recycles itself, which is even better. Fire King Island goes really well in this deck, and it still does, even though Dark Destroyer is at 1 now. And Diagram, if you have the card, I know it's not really a budget card, it is expensive, but if you do have Dragonic Diagram, I would highly recommend you chuck it in this deck. And loads of cards have been reprinted, not recently, but last year, back in Farm Girl, Dark Destroyer, all Gold, Secret, and all that, so you can pick them up for less than £1 each. And you're not really going to be using any extra deck monsters, apart from stuff like Cyber Dragon Infinity, which again is cheap as shit. Anyway, that rounds up this budget deck list. If you enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for some more brilliant YouTube videos. I will try and be a little bit more consistent, but recently I've just been a bit up to date. I have to sort out work and this, that, and the other. It's been a bit all over the place. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.